Well, hello again. I did find a bit more time, so I thought, well, I'll do the other video. Now this is more on-piste. You know, the earlier videos were off-piste, 1 minute piste off, next minute piste on. So this is more of the usual sort of UFO ET stuff. Now, I've been looking at usual 2 or 3 channels I look at during the week. Hilarious stuff. One is better than the others. He does ask some of the right sort of questions, this guy. I'm still not going to mention his channel because he doesn't mention mine. But awful lot of rubbish spread generally. Now, yeah, Lou Elizondo apparently was only mentioned once in the Skinwalker Ranch book. That was one written by Lukatsky and somebody who was running ORSAP at the Pentagon, remember? And the Pentagon found out that they were chasing werewolves around Skinwalker Ranch, so they pulled the plug on the funding. But Lou Elizondo was only mentioned once apparently in that entire book, and that was when he was talking to Lukatsky and co. about he was regaling them with his war stories and his prowess at remote viewing. So just having a private telepathic conversation with Lou Elizondo. Yes, Lou. Yes, I'm not sure when. Now, Lou's asking about the Steve Mumbling action figures. Now, been a lot of demand for Steve Mumbling action figures, so we'll have to see what we can do about that. And apparently Lou is going to be throwing chairs. He's going to be creating all sorts of attention seeking, you know, for his book. When his book comes out, he's going to be throwing chairs, metaphorically, you would hope, around the room, because he's unhappy at what the Arrow report has said, which of course is there's no evidence of ET coming here. So Lou Elizondo, very upset, going to be throwing chairs. Now, I saw Steve Bassett as well during the week, and I can't remember what channel he was on, but yeah. He was saying, well, we know it's all real. It's been real since the 1940s. You know, we know the Roswell crash, and there was 2 dead bodies and 1 live one. You know, he really has swallowed this nonsense hook, line, and sinker. Now, I think there's no hope for people like Steve Bassett. You know, he's not he's not open to the truth. It's all lies. It's all a truth embargo. Until he hears what he says. You can't trust the government, they're going to lie to you. Until the government says it's all true, then he'll go, oh, I told you. You know, there won't be any doubt in his mind then. Poor Mr. Bassett. I actually thought that Steve Bassett's paradigm thingy and Danny Sheehan's paradigm thingy were in fact the same thingy, but they're not. They're two different organisations. I mean, they're both wasting their time, but they're 2 completely different organisations. It's a bit like the Soul Foundation. You know, it's a waste of time. Now, you've got to bear in mind that with the Roswell story, I've probably said this so many times, but Mac Brazel found the wreckage in the field June the 14th, nothing to do with July the 7th, the storm on July the 7th. The stuff had already been in his field for 3 weeks. He found strips of rubber, cardboard fin, stuck to some balsa wood with some scotch tape. Now that's what Mac Brazel, the guy that found the Roswell wreckage, described. He said he picked it all up and put it all on his kitchen table. Does that sound like an interstellar spacecraft to you? It certainly doesn't sound like one to me. And all this legend, as you know, this myth has developed from the crash of this mogul balloon string. What Brazel described, of course, was exactly what the mogul balloon string was made of. Now, and we've got Mr. DeLong, of course, said he was going to build an interstellar spacecraft with a free energy power source that would revolutionise power around the planet. No sign of that. You know, to GoFundMe, didn't we? Didn't need to build it. And of course, you know, lots of money was sent, but no free energy source was revealed. or nor was any alien extraterrestrial interstellar. It's been a long day. Interstellar spacecraft. So put a line through that. Put a line through the TTSA. Anyone involved with the TTSA? It's all claptrap. It's rubbish. Absolute rubbish. You got to bear in mind too that Elon Musk, has said that he wants to die on Mars. Not an impact, but he wants to die on Mars. Now, Elon Musk could buy anything he wants, One person on one alien back engineering program could sell Musk a bit of real ET technology for a life-changing amount of money. Musk could get it verified before he paid the money. This hasn't happened, has it? Because none of this material exists. There is no technological or biological ET material on this planet. Just think about that for a minute. How many of these reverse engineering programs are they claiming are going on? Just in the US, they're saying there's over 100 crashed alien spacecraft. It's complete nonsense, isn't it? Aliens aren't going to come here and crash. They're going to be the worst drivers in the galaxy. Would you want to insure those guys? It's ludicrous, All over the world, these things are falling like rain. These alien spacecraft. You got to wear a crash helmet to go out your front door. There's so many alien spacecraft raining down from the sky, Yet not one person involved in one reverse engineering recovery program for ET materials has gone to Elon Musk and said, Mr. Musk, I've got some of the real stuff here. It's going to cost you an awful lot of money. I'm going to want $200 million for it. And it will help you get away from using chemical propellants for your Starship, That was amazing, by the way. Watch that launch. 5,000 tons of propellant. That's almost twice the weight of a Saturn V. I just light it up and flew away. Incredible. But if someone went to Musk and said, I can give you this technology, I can sell you some of this extraterrestrial technology, this revolutionary energy technology. Musk is just 200 million. It's like me buying a bag of cheese and onion crisps. No problem. 300 million. Yeah, there you go. Upon verification that it's extraterrestrial. That hasn't happened, has it? Ask yourself why that is. People fear for their lives, says David Grush. Then Grush is asked why he's come forward, and he says for his own personal protection. It's nonsense, isn't it? All of this is claptrap. That's to say, my throat's a bit dry. I've been doing quite a bit of physical stuff today. They're the people that are going to find ET, or the JWST, or later iterations of that sort of thing. They're not coming here. And Musk would buy. Now, if there was such a thing as free energy, and someone said to Musk, I can sell you this alien technology, it's free energy. Musk could say, fantastic, here's your $300 million once it's verified. Once we know it works, once we know it's extraterrestrial. Now, even if this did happen, okay, free energy is science fiction. Just supposing it wasn't, okay, and Musk bought some of this stuff, okay, we'll find out what it is. And Musk was making these little cubes, maybe as big as a, fridge freezer, half the size of a fridge freezer, that would convert this free energy that's all around us into, 240 volt mains at 50 cycle mains, power that we can use. That box is not going to be free, is it? The maintenance of that box is not going to be free, is it? Actually, if Musk had any sense, he'd lease them, wouldn't he? He'd rent them. He wouldn't sell them. It'd be so much a month to have your box in the corner that provided all the power for your house. And you'd have to buy a maintenance plan for it, or you'd have to pay for it when it went wrong. So, it wouldn't be any freer than the energy we got now. It certainly wouldn't be any freer than solar power, would it? That's complete nonsense, these people that say, free energy revolutionised the way we live. Well, no, it wouldn't. Even if it was real, which it isn't, it wouldn't. I was watching, I don't know whether I mentioned this before actually, I was watching that Alaska Triangle program, people are saying, I watched this thing over here, it was in the sky and it went from there, over to there, and then over to there. Nothing can physically move like that, It's true, nothing can. But I had a look at where, on Google Earth, where a lot of these reports are, and they're down at the bottom of Alaska, the south end of Alaska. It's where HAARP is, Now, when HAARP do their ionospheric heating experiments, they can do beam steering from the actual HAARP facility. All the energy goes straight up, they cross dipoles. All the energy straight up, and they can, by phasing the energy fed to each set of dipoles, they can steer the beam. Not a lot, not a huge amount, but they can steer the beam. Forwards, backwards, and side, circle, yeah. And I googled to find out whether or not the plasmas in the ionosphere created by HAARP are actually visible, whether or not they're visible. And they are. They're visible to the naked eye. So HAARP could go, heat that up. That's a message. Someone could go, oh wow, look at that, a big glowing ball in the sky, and then it disappears. Boom, and then it's over there again because they've steered the beam over there. So switch it off. Beam over there, ding, do their thing, switch it off, over there, heat it up again, switch it off, Different places in the sky, and it will look effectively just like a laser pointer, but it's, ionised sections, plasmas forming in the ionosphere. So I think that's what that will be down to. It's far more likely to be that than ET, I think. So it's a down-to-earth explanation for it. This was funny. I thought this was so funny. Ross Coulthard was being interviewed, and he said, well, over 60% of the US population believe the government is hiding information about ET coming here, UFOs and ET coming here, as if this was some sort of qualification in fact, So 60% of the population believe the government is hiding information about ET and UFOs, therefore it must be true. Now, he's a lawyer. He knows that's complete and utter nonsense. That doesn't mean that the government in fact has any of this stuff, or in fact is hiding any information relating to reverse engineering programs. It doesn't mean that at all. 43% of the US population believe in Bigfoot. No one's produced a Bigfoot, have they? There's no Bigfoot in a museum, It's complete and utter rubbish. And, Coulthard and Sheehan, both lawyers, should know better than to say, well, I saw some pictures in a deep, dark basement, because it's a deep, dark secret. It was a brand new office building. People hadn't moved into it yet. They didn't show him these files. Danny Sheehan went there to see these secret Blue Book files. They didn't show him the files on the, all the offices were unused. People weren't moving in till after the weekend or whatever it was. They could have showed him the files on the ground floor, in any office on the ground floor, any office on the first floor. They didn't have to take him down into an unlit basement to show him the files. Deep, dark secrets have to be in deep, dark basements, Coulthard loves that, deep, dark secrets, down in the basement, or loves it, laps it up, straight out of the X-Files. Straight out of the X-Files. It's complete nonsense, of course. Personal opinion. Got to be careful with these lawyers. Now, I was looking at news in the UK, Daily Mail. News in the UK, Daily Mail. There's a Special Forces soldier in there, and he says he's another whistleblower. And another Special Forces soldier who he trusts told him that he was part of an alien spacecraft and recovery team. This is another person that's come forward to say, to tell the story that he's been told because he chooses to believe it. You know, I mean, how ridiculous is this stuff? You know? And the Admiral, that's part of the Soul Foundation, you know, he's been told by people that he chooses to believe that it's all real. And he's out there, in my opinion, making a fool of himself, saying, oh yeah, I know this is, we know they're here, we know this is fact. And he doesn't. He doesn't know anything of the sort. He knows he's been told it. When are we going to get these people that are telling all these people this stuff in front of Congress? Subpoenaed. Get them in there. Because they're all going to evaporate as soon as that happens. Even Tim Burchett said, you know, he said, oh, well, we thought these guys had first-hand experience, but, you know, it's an industry. These guys are frauds. And it would have been so much better if Tim Burchett had said who he was talking about to clarify the situation. Of course, it's all rubbish, you know. Not one person has come forward with any tangible evidence to 60 Minutes, to Spotlight, you know, to an equivalent current affairs program anywhere in the world, and had, you know, said this is tangible evidence, we get it verified by different universities, different countries, you know, because they would be made for life. They would get a Nobel Prize. The person that can announce we are not alone in the universe, we're not alone in the galaxy, will be remembered forever. And you think not one of these people would come forward for that accolade? I don't believe it. I think it's complete and utter rubbish. I've said before, you know, about the distances. You know, 25,800 light years to the centre of the galaxy. You know, we could have people doing what we're doing now, started doing what we're doing now, 20,000 years ago, with their radio and their radar into space and all that sort of stuff. We won't know about it for another 5,800 years. Signals from these civilizations, if they're out there, roaring through space, they could get here today. They could get here while I'm making this video. Well, they could get here in, you know, 20,000 years. Or never. But as I said, you know, these are the guys. These are the guys that are going to find ET out in the galaxy. JWST, something like that. It's going to be remote sensing, remote sensing that finds ET out there. And apparently this guy, this Special Forces soldier that came forward, he said he's been told, a reliable source, you know, this other guy was a member of Special Forces crashed alien spacecraft recovery team, and he said the whole operation was run by MI6. Huge red flag. Because MI6 does not work domestically in the UK. MI6 is the overseas security services. If he'd have said MI5, it would have been more plausible. I still wouldn't have believed it, but it would have been more plausible. It would have shown that he'd at least done a little bit of research. You know, MI6 is not going to get involved in something like that. Something else. Giza Pyramid is a power plant. I think the person suggesting it is the plant, to be perfectly honest. Zero evidence that the Giza Pyramid is a power source. Absolute claptrap. Travis Taylor apparently is telling us on one of his, it might have been Rednet Rocket Science or something. Travis Taylor tells us he's an expert in alien invasion. That's amazing, Travis. Perhaps you could enlighten us with how many, I mean, to be an expert, you've been involved in many alien invasions, no doubt. So perhaps you could enlighten us as to your experience dealing with just one of these alien invasions. To be able to make that claim, expert in alien invasion. I'd be interested to hear that. I saw a program that dealt with his book, and he seems to think that we could fight a guerrilla war against aliens and win. And it's complete and utter rubbish. Apparently the Pentagon takes his book pretty seriously, because he's got friends in the Pentagon, he's worked for the Pentagon. Oh, Travis Taylor's got a book out, how to beat aliens if they invade the planet. And it's absolute drivel. If aliens want the planet, they'd wipe us out from orbit with a bioweapon. We wouldn't even get to see them. Everyone would be dead in 2 or 3 days. That'd be that. They're not going to come here and fight us on our terms. We're just shooting war. It's ridiculous. This guy's got 2 PhDs. He's just not thinking, And what else have we got? Not much, actually. Sean Kirkpatrick apparently has been threatened by the UFO true believers, by the acolytes, by the apostles, because he's not said what they want to hear. All these UFO nuts, Bassett and all these other, they've been campaigning and campaigning and campaigning, for the Congress to hear these people and all this sort of stuff, investigate it all, and now they've investigated it and found there's nothing there. It's all got to be a cover-up, a truth embargo. They're not going to believe the truth, that there is no tangible evidence of ET coming here. There'd be no reason to hide it. Asymmetrical warfare, it's nonsense. You've got to. There's no point in having a secret weapon if the enemy doesn't know you've got it. It won't work as a deterrent, will it? And apparently the people that are really into all this, they're the zealots. They know it's true. The Arrow report is all lies. And they're actually going round to Sean Kirkpatrick's house and shouting at him, banging on his door. This is just getting ridiculous, isn't it? These people genuinely are nuts. It's just crazy that, and I can fully understand why Sean Kirkpatrick would leave. He said it's all science fiction rubbish. There's nothing to it. He doesn't want to waste his time on it. He doesn't want his department wasting their time on it. And you get these people like I left a comment for MUFON. There's a MUFON YouTube channel, and they're saying the Arrow report is all rubbish. They've said there's no evidence and all that sort of stuff, and they don't trust Arrow, so they're not going to show them their evidence. And I left a comment saying, well, if you won't show Arrow your evidence, you can hardly blame Arrow for saying they haven't seen any evidence. Of these people involved in this, really, is there not one of them that's got an IQ bigger than their shoe size? If they said, okay, we've got this, it's tangible evidence, we've had it verified by different universities, it's extraterrestrial, it's extraterrestrial material, then they take it and present it to Arrow. Arrow can't say it's not, can they? They don't have to give all of it to Arrow if they don't trust them. They could say, well, I've got this stuff, I'm going to give some to Arrow, I'm going to give some to this university, take it, show 60 Minutes, Spotlight, a mainstream media current affairs platform. You're not going to be able to be assassinated, are you? Like David Grush, you're coming forward for your own protection. Yeah, I think this rubbish is going to run on for a bit, but and the fanboys are going to say nothing other than it's all lies, truth embargo, government cover-up, because they're not hearing what they want to hear. Can't trust the government. Government lies to you all the time. Until the government says, yeah, it's all true. Oh yeah, told you. Fully accept that in a nanosecond. ET's not coming here. ET has never been here. ET doesn't crash here. It's all complete and utter rubbish. Absolute rubbish. Until proven otherwise with some tangible evidence. Alright, that's just a bit of a wrap up of the nonsense I've seen this week floating around the ET circles or YouTube channels, you know. I watch this stuff from time to time, usually as I'm having my breakfast for a bit of entertainment. If you've struggled through the video all the way to this point, many thanks for watching as usual, and maybe I'll catch you again.